Shalom, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Good day, everybody. Catch the Torah wave. Welcome to our Sunday Genesis class live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg. It's always a joy to be with him and many others from around the world in the Zoom room. We've got our friend Hans down in Paraguay. We got our friends Angela and Mike down in over in the UK. My friend Angela Demansky over in the Vancouver area. Of course, Rabbi Goldberg. We're joined by Jack. Our friend Linda Allen, and our friend Lara up in Queens, New York. Always a joy. But let's just jump right in and see how the rabbi's doing. And let's get the class started. Where I know we're a couple minutes late. Welcome, Nina, and I think that's Seattle Noahides. That would be Cole, I believe, and my friend Barbara B over in Germany. Welcome, everybody. So, let's just jump right in. Rabbi Goldberg, you're live on the air.
Fine. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Daniel. Also, he's from Netherlands, right? Daniel, Netherlands.
Nice to meet you, Daniel. I wasn't familiar. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hope everything is fine with everybody. I asked everything is okay. We are doing well. Also with the corona and with everything else. The coronavirus, I've heard that in West Europe, it's a very hard situation today with the corona, so we need to pray for them. After all, we are one unit. And let's jump straight ahead to the learning that we have in Genesis. And from there on, we will continue. By the way, I met Lee a few days ago. Lee Fogel, and he's
how is he?
Regards. He's feeling fine, and I want him to come inside again, and we will organize something that he will come
beautiful.
in.
I'm also joined by my mother. I got my mother visiting from Southern Ontario here in the studio with me, Sheila Etzel. Always glad to have somebody here with me. That she wanted to listen to your class today, so here we are.
Fine. Send our regards and the blessings from Jerusalem. So let's dive inside straight ahead. Today we have a unique situation. It's coming from time to time, where we have the parsha that we read this week is exactly the thing that we're starting. We're going to discuss
things. We're getting in sync.
Yes, exactly on the parsha. This is where we started the parsha, what we read this week, yesterday, and this is where we came. We came to chapter 18. Before we will dive inside, I want to remind us all. I will start with something that maybe I said. How can we do this on the? Let me think for a moment. Let me do this on this thing. Can you see my screen? Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your share screen. Yeah.
Okay. So let me start with something here. Okay, here it is. Now you can see my screen. I will put I will do it this very big. I want to explain something. Yes, big font. I want to explain something, okay? We said already more than once that the name in Hebrew is equal to the purpose, right?
Name is equal to purpose, yes. P-U-R.
Sorry?
P-U-R-P-O-S-E.
P-U-R, oh, sorry, P-U-R, P-O-S, P-O-S-E, right?
Yes, name equals purpose.
Okay. This is in Israel. So now let's jump for a moment and let's see exactly what happened to Abraham and what happened to Sarah. This is what we said in the chapter before that.
Right.
Okay. Abram was Abram, okay? And the meaning of this, it's two words, okay? The one word is the word Av, okay? And the word Av, the meaning of the word Av is father.
Yeah.
Okay? And the second word, the word Ram, I will cut it from here.
Remain.
The second word, sorry. This word, okay, is like a king, okay? He is high ministry, okay? It's equal more or less to the word king. So Abraham was a king, but it's also hinting here a very interesting word, that the name of this word, now I'm going to highlight few letters. When you are gathering those three letters together, it's the word Aram. Aram in Hebrew is the place where Abraham was born. So
Right.
Abraham was the king of Aram. Well, Abraham was a very important person in Aram. This is his name, his purpose, his main issue. When this is his name. Now let's go back to the second name that he got. He got the name from the name Avram, Avraham. Okay, God added this letter to his wording. Okay, this letter. And now what is happening is that Abraham is not the king of Aram, but the king of all of the world. Okay, he is Av, his father, of Hakol, everything. Again, the word Av is father. His father is very important. Of everything, Abraham. Okay, this is the word. Now, if we will look for a moment in chapter 5, if we will go to chapter 5 for a moment.
Hi, Lisette.
Please read the first two. Hi, everybody.
The first two?
The first two chapters.
Of Genesis chapter 5.
Yes, chapter 5, the first two verses.
Okay. This is the narrative of the generations of man. On the day that Hashem created man in the likeness of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them, and he blessed them, and he named them man, Adam, on the day they were created.
Okay, the word created in Hebrew is this word, Hibaram. Now, I won't go inside to all of the vocabulary of the Hebrew language. This is a unique word. It's not supposed to be written in this way, but it is written in this way because those are the letters of Abraham. Those are the same letters of Abraham. The full word of Abraham. The A, okay, Av, the B, and then the R, and then the H, and the last word. Those are the 5 letters, exactly the letters of Abraham. And what the Bible is hinting here, that God created everything because we have Abraham that will come after 2,000 years. Okay, that Abraham is an important person that is giving the direction, the purpose of the universe, of the universe.
Of the created.
The creator, all the creation.
Sure.
And now the same thing I need to explain a bit with Sarah. Okay, her name was Sarai, and this letter, okay, has been exchanged. This letter has been exchanged with another letter. Instead of this, God decided to put this letter. And the meaning of this, it's I think we saw Rashi last week, but never mind. If we didn't saw it, I won't seek it now. That when you have this letter, the Yud, the letter, the 10th letter, the meaning of this word is she is the woman of only Abraham. When you are changing this letter to the other letter, to what we have, the hey, okay, the H here. So it's from being the woman of only Abraham, she is a woman for everybody. Now, this is a difference. When she is not only for Abraham, she can take the birth of Isaac, who is going to be part of the nation for everybody, not only for herself and Abraham. And this is the purpose that God is changing from only being particularly for Aram area and for Sarai with only Abraham, both of them are moving one step ahead to become something that is related to all of the world.
Awesome.
From there, they will manage to bring, from now, after they changed their names, two things are going to happen straight ahead. First of all, Isaac is coming to get born, the next generation. And secondly, Abraham moved to another step, to another level of purely, he is much pure, more person. Therefore, we can judge Sodom and Gomorrah because they were very
immoral.
They're immoral people. But now that Abraham is in a moral level, those people are supposed to move aside. Something similar is happening in our days. It's hard to say this, but think about this like that. Now that the Noahide movement is raising up in the world, the people who are very far back inside are being judged. And this is what is happening. And this is what we see with a lot of questions around the world, with a lot of nations, with a lot of things. Something is being judged, because more people are coming to a higher level of morality. So God is asking, so why do I need the people that are behind? Let's move them aside. Let's move the world to the next step. So this is one thing I wanted to explain from last week. And now we can continue on in chapter 18. If there are any questions, I can answer. If not, we will continue. After Abraham did circumcision, this is how we say it, right?
Yes, circumcision, yeah.
I did it right this time. After Abraham did this circumcision, and God changed their names, and now they have a purpose of something else. We're going inside to a very important story, and let's start. Please read verse number 1.
1. Now the Lord appeared to him in the plains of Mamre, and he was sitting at the entrance of his tent when the day was hot.
So there are a few things here. Okay, first of all, who is appearing in front of him? I want to show this. Who is appearing in front of him? And we explained more than once that there are differences of names with God that are describing different appearance. Okay, it's like, we'll say it like that. It's like an actress, okay, who is showing himself as a cowboy and showing himself after, in a different movie as a soldier, and in a different movie as a simple person or a lawyer. So every time we're saying a different name about him. He is a cowboy, he is a soldier, he is a lawyer. Okay, so each name is the same person, but he is doing different actions and different appearance in front of us. Now, God, the Almighty God, he have two main appearances in the Genesis book. One is related with what we call Midat Hadin, with the laws of nature, the judgment. Now, why are we calling the laws of nature judgment? It's very simple, because we said it more than once, but I will explain this until people will feel comfortable to understand it, okay? The laws of nature, they don't care how you behave.
Right.
Okay, when you sleep on the banana, you said it 2 weeks ago, on the banana peel, okay? It doesn't matter to the banana peel if you are a righteous person or a bad person. If you sleep on the banana peel, you will break your leg, okay? When you jump from the Empire State Building. Okay?
We'll all burn in fire, or we'll all drown if we're held underwater. Yeah.
So in some sort of way, this is exactly what we say. It's the Midat Hadin. It's the judgment that doesn't care how you behave. Those are the laws of
Strict.
nature, and this is strict, and that's what will happen. This is the name of this behavior is called Elohim. Elohim, and we explained this more than once, that it's coming from the word, you know what, let's say, because we have this paper in front of us, so let's jump and show this for a moment. Okay, the word Elohim, this is a word. It's being combined from two words. Okay, one word is the word
El.
Yes, I'll do this like that. Okay, one word is the word El. El is alien. The same word. Okay, alien. It's like the word El, and the word him is a lot of aliens. So, and we know that we have a lot of laws in the nature. Therefore, this is the word Elohim is saying that he have a lot of powers. There is the laws of the sun, how exactly it's working. The laws of the moon, how exactly it's working. The gravitation law, how it's working. We have a lot of laws, how things are working. Also the nature, the animals, how they are working. This is being named with the word Elohim. After Abraham did circumcision, who is coming in front of him? Who is appearing in front of him? Not the word Elohim, but the word Yud K Vav K, okay? The word that is created the word Elohim, that created the laws of nature, who decided this will be the laws of nature and this will work, this won't work, okay? So it's much above, much greater appearance that is funny. Now, what is Elonei Mamre? What is this place, Elonei Mamre? Who is Mamre? Do you remember where we saw him already? We saw already Mamre. We saw it in chapter 14. Okay, let's go to chapter 14, where there's a big fight between the four kings and the five kings.
Right.
And Abraham, and Abraham is going there to save his nephew, Lot.
Lot, yeah.
Okay, and you read in verse number 13, please.
And the fugitive came and he told Abram the Hebrew, and he was living in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, the brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Aner, who were Abram's confederates.
So we have here someone very important, that he is one of the confederation of Abraham. Okay, his name is Mamre. Now our sages are saying something very interesting. They're saying that Mamre, this guy, everybody is asking themselves, how come he's being mentioned here? Sorry, let's jump back to 18. Okay, how come Mamre is being mentioned here? How come Mamre is being mentioned here? So don't be so surprised. Our sages are saying that Mamre came to Abraham and said to him, look, I have an idea for you. You're speaking about God, the one God, the unity of the world, and all of those things. My idea for you is that you will do circumcision. Abraham said to him, I don't know, maybe it's interesting. Interesting idea. I don't know. I'm not sure. Now, if you will go to the psychologist in the United States, and you will ask yourself if they will give you an explanation why people are doing circumcision. So the answer of the psychologist, you can look after that on the internet. They're saying that this is some sort of a fight, hidden fight underneath. You know, it's not a known fight, hidden fight between the father and the son, because now the son is taking the place of the father. The newborn baby is taking the place of the father. So the father wants to weaken him a bit. So this is why he's doing it, circumcision. Okay, it's not. It's what we call in the underneath of the mind. It's not something that it's clear. So Mamre said to him, listen, do something that will weaken a bit the laws of nature. And Abraham said, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know, it's a good idea, maybe it's yes, maybe not, and like that. And after that, God said to Abraham, do circumcision. So after 3 days, okay, after he did this circumcision in the area of Mamre. Okay, this is why he is being mentioned here. And what we are learning here is that before God gave us commandments in the Bible, in the Hebrew Bible, there were 2,000 years that there were here all sorts of prophets, all sorts of people that were very, they were behaving in the right way, in a good way. And some of those things, the Hebrew Bible took and said, let's put it as a commandment that this is the right way to behave. One of the things, maybe, if this is we have already evidence in the mummies of the Egyptians that some of them did also circumcision, okay? This is something very, very early, this circumcision. Not everybody did it. There were people who were very against it, fair enough. But at the end, we know that some of those behavior were before the Hebrew Bible gave the commandments. I can give another example where, let me give another example. We have, let me find it for a moment, where it is exactly. Let's start here. We have the situation where someone had much more. When someone got married and he doesn't have any kids, okay? He doesn't have any kids. And he doesn't have any kids, and God forbid he died without having any kids. What is happening is that in the laws of the Bible, of the Hebrew Bible, the woman is supposed to get married with the brother of the one who died,
right?
And then the kids will be under the name of the first brother who died. Okay. Now this is something that is being written down in Deuteronomy. Something to do. But we have a similar situation in chapter 38, much before this commandment in Deuteronomy.
Before Sinai, yeah.
Yes, exactly before Sinai, where we see Judah, who have 3 sons. Okay, one is Er. He named his the first one Er, and the second one is Onan. And the third one is Shelah. Okay, you have three kids. And please read for a moment verses 6, 7, and 8.
6. And Judah took a wife for Er, his firstborn, named Tamar. Now Er, Judah's firstborn, was evil in the eyes of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. So Judah said to Onan, come to your brother's wife and perform the rite of the Levirate, and raise up progeny for your brother. Now Onan knew that the progeny would not be his, and it came about when he came to his brother's wife, he wasted his semen on the ground in order to give seed to his brother.
And this is also why God is also killing him, okay? And he did him also death. But we see here already, before the Bible, the Hebrew Bible gave us commandment of what we call it's called Yibum, okay? Yabem et Yabem. Yibum it's called, okay? It's in English it's called Levirate. Before this, already they behaved in this situation. And this is more or less what we can say about the situation with Abraham. When Abraham is doing this circumcision, and this is something that already he got the idea from from Mamre, and this is why, or before God said to him, do this, or this is something that I'm obeying you. What God is doing, He is saying to him, do this, and this will give you this will give you the land, the Hebrew land, because you're doing this circumcision. We saw those verses last week. So first of all, we have those 2 points here in this verse. Let's continue on a bit. The continuous of this verse, that Abraham was sitting, okay, in the entrance of the tent when the day was hot.
So he's in the midst of circumcision and he's dealing with the pain, and the day is hot.
Yes, he is in the third day. He's in the third day, that it's the most hard day of the circumcision. And he is sitting in the entrance of the tent because he wants very much to accept people from outside to bring them to his tent. Abraham is trying all the time to bring people to his tent and to give them the right way how to live in life, and to give them a lot of food and all of those things. It's also some sort of an allegory, okay? We can see here some sort of an allegory where he's sitting in the place of the, how do you say this in English? The Gehenna, okay? He's sitting on the place of Gehenna, the most hot place in the world, Gehenna. He's sitting there in the entrance of Gehenna, and he's saving every person who did circumcision from coming to the Gehenna. He's pushing him out. You can see here some sort of a allegory explanation. So this is verse number 1. Please read verse number 2.
And he lifted his eyes and saw, and behold, 3 men were standing beside him. And he saw, and he ran toward them from the entrance of the tent, and he prostrated himself to the ground.
Now, this is, you need to sit down in tight, because I'm going to say here things that are not always comfortable for people that came from idolatry of the Christianity. Okay, you all with me? Let's go step by step. We have here, how many people do we have here?
3 men.
3 men. So let's read for a moment in a situation like a Christian person. Okay.
Yeah. They would try to say that.
It starts with Lord appeared in front of Abraham, and it's continuing with 3. Wow, the Trinity, right? This is how you say it, right?
Yeah, that's the way Christians would say. Yeah.
Fine, it's written down. It's not a problem. This is exactly what's written down here, right? So let's explain here a bit what is happening. We have 2 or 3 main explanation of what's happening here in this part of this story. Let's start with the Maimonides, the most oldest one, okay, 850 years ago. He is saying something amazing. He is saying, look, you don't know how to read this story. The story is very simple. God appeared in front of Abraham, and the meaning of this, that God prophesied Abraham. This is what it says in the beginning of the first verse. Now, the Lord appeared to him. And from now on, the next of the continuous of the story, everything here is in a
post-prophetic.
Prophetic situation.
Post-prophetic, yeah.
Yes. And if, for example, I'm as a journalist, will come to Abraham in those moments, what I will see that Abraham is sleeping, because he have inside some sort of prophet, but he's not awake. He is speaking with God.
He's in a state of visionary.
State of visionary. He's sleeping. In my eyes, I can see
like a
him that he is sleeping. It's a dream, only a dream. This is what the Maimonides is saying. Okay. Now, why do we have three people? In a moment, I will show Rashi why do we have three people and what each one of them is doing. Each one of them have a different purpose. The Ramban was 100 years after him. It's Rabbi Moshe Bar Nachman, Ben Nachman. Okay, it's a bit confusing. It's not the Maimonides. It's someone else, very big, very giant rabbi. He was also a big Kabbalist. Very big Kabbalist rabbi, and he was really great. He was sitting in Provence among all of the Christian people. And when he heard, or he saw how the Maimonides is explaining, he was terrified. He said, the Christian people are looking to see that the prophecy of God is three people. We can't accept this. It is a reality. And Abraham, when God appeared in front of him, suddenly Abraham saw three angels coming, and Abraham said to God, listen, to speak with you is very big, but it's much greater to accept hosts that will come from outside. So please hold for a moment. And this is what he's saying to him in verse 3. And he said, my Lord, if I only have found favor in your eyes, please do not pass. And from the side of my servant, because we're speaking with God, because I'm going to give those people hospitality for them coming here. But don't even think for a moment that it's a prophecy that God is speaking in a Trinity with three people. This is what the Ramban is saying. So we have one option. The Maimonides, don't forget, the Maimonides is living in Egypt among the Arab people who have a lot of imaginations, that they see all sorts of imagination of how do you call it in English? Shadim, ruchot, all sorts of things that are not happening. So the Maimonides is saying that no, he didn't saw angels, he saw a prophet. And the Ramban, who is sitting in Provence among all the Christian people, he's saying, no. He saw three angels. He didn't. It's not that God is speaking in Trinity in three people.
Of course not. Yeah.
There's another explanation, the third explanation. We have three people, so we need to have three explanations, of course. The third explanation is saying something else. It's saying that those three people that came to Abraham were three prophets. And those prophets are saying to him, first of all, know that Sarah is going to have a child, Isaac. Secondly, God is going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah. And the third thing, we're going to save Lot from Sodom and Gomorrah. So each one of them said something else, but they were prophets, because God is not doing ever miracles in this world without having prophets who are saying those things. From where those prophets came, we don't know, because the Bible is not saying to us all the prophets that were before God gave us the Bible, okay, before Moses. We know that Abraham was a prophet. We know that Isaac and Jacob was a prophet. We know that Bilam was a prophet. Bilam, he wasn't from the Hebrew nation. We know that there were prophets before. Shem, Abimelech, Shem, the son of Noah, was a prophet. Sheth, the son of Adam, was a prophet. Chanoch, one of the dynasties of Sheth, was a prophet. We know that there were prophets before. So also here there were three prophets. The Bible is not saying to us exactly the names. So we have here three explanations what exactly is happening here. Explanation one from the Maimonides, everything here that we're going to read now is a prophecy, and we need to understand what the prophecy is saying to us. This is the Maimonides. The Ramban, the sage that came 100 years after him, that lived in Provence, was terrified to think that the Christian people will learn that from one God, we are speaking about three people who are speaking with him. So he said, no, it was real. And those people were angels. In a moment, I'm going to open Rashi and we'll explain each one of them what was his job, what was his mission. And we have another explanation. It's from the Rabbi, somebody else that came 200 years after that, or 300 years after that. And he's saying, no, we're speaking about not a prophecy, not angels. We're speaking about prophet people, okay, that came and said prophecies to Abraham, and Abraham listened to them. Those are the three explanations that we have. Before we'll continue, I must show for a moment about the three people, okay? So please read the three men.
And behold, three men, one to bring him news of Isaac's birth to Sarah, and one to overturn Sodom, and one to heal Abraham. For one angel does not perform two errands. From Genesis Rabbah 50, verse 2. You should know that this is true because throughout the entire chapter, Scripture mentions them in the plural below verse 8, and they ate. Ibid in verse 9, and they said to him concerning the announcement, however, it says in verse 10, and he said, I will surely return to you. And concerning the overturning of Sodom, it says in 1922, for I will not be able to do anything. In verse 21, I will not overturn, from Genesis Rabbah 50:11, and Raphael, who healed Abraham, went from there to save Lot. This is what is stated, and it came to pass when they took them outside that he, the angel, said, flee for your life. You learned that only one acted as a deliverer.
So we have in the beginning, they're all speaking with him, three of them and everything else, but when they need to say something, all the time, it says, I will say this and I will say that. So it's each angel can do only one thing. And we have here three angels because one is healing Abraham and he's also after that saving Lot from Sodom and Gomorrah. It's the same thing to save your life. What we call Raphael. Raphael in Hebrew is a healing from your illnesses. So one is healing. The other one is turning Sodom and Gomorrah, and the other one is bringing the news for Sarah that she's going to give birth for men. So this is why we have three people, and we saw that. Okay. Now I explained also in verse number 3. Please read verse number 3.
3. And he said, my lords, if only I have found favor in your eyes, please do not pass on from beside your servant. And
we said that basically Abraham saying here to God, okay, at the beginning, God appeared in front of Abraham, and suddenly he sees the three people and he's moving away and starting to speak. If you're sitting in front of the king and suddenly you're starting to speak with one of the servants there who's giving tea, you will get smacked and they will throw you out, in the good situation. In the normal situation, in the Arabs country, they will take your head off also. So how come God is speaking with him and suddenly he's turning and speaking with three people? So he's saying here in verse number 3, please forgive me. It's much more important to serve people and to bring them inside to my home and to give them food and life. And so stay for a moment and then I will return to you, God. This is what Abraham is saying. We can show this in Rashi also, just one.
To the chief one he said, and he called them.
No, just a moment. Oh, it is the second thing, okay? Another explanation. This is the most important. Yes.
Another explanation. It is holy, and he was telling the Holy One, blessed be he, to wait for him until he would run and bring the wayfarers. And although this
do not pass by,
it is written after and ran toward them. The statement to Hashem, do not pass by, preceded it. It is customary for the verses to speak in this manner, as I explained in reference to.
And we don't need to continue on all the proofs that Rashi is bringing. The main thing here is to understand that Abraham is saying to God, with all of the respect, stay for a moment. I need to serve those people. I need to bring them because I will explain this like that. When you have something, spirituality, okay? I'm speaking with God. I have prophecy now and everything else. And you have something that you can do in reality. The reality is very important because we came here to this world not to be only on the spiritual level. We came here to this world to do actions, reality actions. And this is what Abraham is saying to God. With all the respect, thank you very much that you're prophesying me. Please wait for a moment. Let me do the reality, the actions, the good deed that we need to do. I think that I'm also sending this always with the emails when people are doing the pledge. And I'm sending them that one of the most hardest things to move from the stage of Christianity towards the stage of Noahide is to start to realize that you're being all the time also judged with actions that you're doing, not only what you think and the spiritual and everything else.
And you believe.
The question is, what are you doing? How are you showing that you believe in things by actions? And doing those actions, here we see this, God is prophesying him, and he's saying to God, please wait, stop for a moment. I need to do some actions. Now the actions is bigger than the prophecy. This is what's happening here. Okay, this is verse number 3. Let's continue on. Please read verse 4 and 5.
4. Please let a little water be taken and bathe your feet and recline under the tree, and I will take a morsel of bread and sustain your hearts. Afterwards you shall pass on, because you have passed by your servant. And they said, so shall you do as you have spoken.
How much does he promising them in verse number 4 and 5? Yes, 4 and 5.
A morsel.
A little water, yes. Let's take a
little water and a morsel of bread.
and a bit morsel of bread, a bit of this, a bit of that. Now, please look for a moment. Verses 6, 7, and 8. What is he doing?
6. And Abram hastened to the tent of Sarah, and he said, hasten 3 seah of meal and fine flour, knead and make cakes. And to the cattle did Abram run, and he took a calf, tender and good, and he gave it to the youth, and he hastened to prepare a whole calf. And he took cream and milk, and the calf that he had prepared, and he placed them before them, and he was standing over them under the tree, and they ate.
Did he give them only a bit of water and a bit of
No,
bread?
he put on a feast.
You know what is it to slaughter a cow?
A calf, yeah.
A cattle. How much meat do you have in a cattle?
Oh, several hundred pounds. A calf can weigh 400 pounds.
So what we have here for a moment, okay, we have a situation where Abraham is speaking a little bit, but he's doing in action, wow, much more. How we can learn from here. Don't speak too much. Do more. Do more than what you're speaking. This is what those verses are teaching us. Do more than what you're speaking. When you're saying things, say them in a little, situation. Say a bit, something like that. But
don't talk big and not do. Yeah,
exactly. Talk small, do big. Don't talk big and do small. This is what's happening here.
Beautiful.
It's a very simple thing. This is a behavior. We will see in the next parsha, and I will remind this part where Ephron, when another 2 parsha, when Ephron is trying to sell the place, what we call the Kiryat Arba, the place where he's going to bury Sarah, Ephron is doing just the opposite. He's speaking very much, he's doing very little. And this is where we have Abraham, and we're learning from his behavior, how to behave, what to do. Another thing that we need to say here is that he's taking here cream and milk, okay, and also the calf.
The calf
now,
he had prepared.
Today, in the Hebrew tradition, you're not allowed
to mix milk.
To mix meat with milk. First of all, let's understand it. Why do we not allow to mix those two? And the answer is very simple. Because milk both of those things you're taking from the animal without really taking permission from the animal, because the animal can't give you any permission. But you're allowing yourself to use the animal in your needs. We, all of us, okay? But there's a very big difference. The milk, when we're taking out the milk from the cow, we are helping the cow. It's hurting her, it's hard for her. We are helping the cow when we're taking out the milk. So we're taking the milk and we're using it. One of the things that kids really like to intimate one each other is to ask what the cow is drinking. And usually people are answering milk. No, the cow is drinking only water. But we're taking the milk and then we're also using it. But we helped the cow. On the other side, when we want to eat the meat of the cow, we need to slaughter. We are taking her life. Now, this is something, a bit more. Stop for a moment. Think for what you're doing. You're taking the life of the meat. Okay, you're taking the life of the animal to eat the meat. So don't mix those two behavior of immoral that you're doing. Okay, it's not immoral because you have permission to do those things, but those are two different roots, and don't mix those two. But there are two things here. First of all, those are words before we got the Bible, of the Hebrew Bible, the Hebrew commandments and the Ten Commandments. Before we got the Ten Commandments, therefore, at this point, Abraham can give them those two things, especially that they are not Jews. And there's another more profound answer, that up in heaven, the differentiation that we have here in this world, that we're defining between good and bad, the tree of good and bad, this is here in this world. But in the source, everything is combined together. Everything is combined together. God is one. So from this one, everything is going out. Okay? A similar thing that we can find is that we have male and female. Okay? This is the male side and the female side. But there's also what we call humanity. When you're saying humanity, you're including together both. Male and female, both. So humanity is an upper word that is combining all of them together. And on the same level, we can understand that here in this world, with our behavior, how we're behaving in front of the cow, and how we're behaving when we want to eat the milk on one side, that we are taking the milk from the cow, but we're also helping the cow from the being ill, from the hard thing that she's feeling when the milk is inside her, and we're helping her, we're assisting her, or that we're taking the meat by taking the cow's life. Those are two things that here in our behavior, those are two different things that we can't mix them together. But on the upper level, in the angel level, it's one thing, the one source. When the source is one, they can eat it together. I'm explaining here two things.
Thank you, Rabbi, because we had a question on YouTube from Robin in Kansas. He asked, did he put the before the meat in milk? And you just answered that for him. So excellent.
Don't tell anybody, but it's because I have a spirit of the Holy Spirit, so I know exactly how to answer. Don't believe this. Don't believe this. Don't believe to those nonsense.
No, you're just sharing the oral or the tradition. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. The last thing I want to mention tonight, and then we have time to discuss things if you want. Where exactly Abraham stood? He stood under the tree. Okay. Now, I must show you Rashi for a moment about this tree, okay? Rashi is saying something very small, but giant thing, okay? As usual, when Rashi is saying simple things, we need to understand what exactly he's saying. And this is what I got from my rabbis, okay? Under the tree, just a moment. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They didn't brought it here. Just a moment. I can't believe it. Okay. Under the tree, Rashi is saying, Now you need to believe me. Go and look to the Hebrew Bible, okay? Under the tree. Rashi is saying under the tree. One word is saying, the live tree. But it's one word in Hebrew, okay? Ilan. Under the tree, Ilan. Live tree. What is the difference? What Rashi wants to say to us? There is a great culture, a very big one, with millions of people who believe that you can worship God only if he is death and the tree.
Right,
And
right.
And there is also the culture of the Hebrew nation who believe in God, who is alive under the alive tree, the life of tree, or the tree of life. Okay? And this is what Rashi is saying to us. Don't get confused. Abraham is under the life tree, or the tree of life. Okay? We don't believe in God who is death under the tree, what we call the cross. This is not us. There is a story about the mother of Rabbi Cook, the great Cook, the father, okay? And it was in the 18th century, at the end or the beginning of the 19th century, something there,
Just over 100 years ago.
1989 or 90, something like that. And she came on the boat to Israel. And on the boat was also a Christian nun. This is how you say it, right? A Christian nun. And the Christian nun came to the mother of Rabbi Cook, and she said to him, she said to her, "Why are you going to Israel? What do you want to find there? Don't forget, in those days we had here mainly swamps. We didn't really have a place here.
Deserts and swamps, yeah.
Desert and swamps. So as a good Jew, when she's getting a question, she answered with a question, right, Lara? This is how it's working. She said to her back, what are you going to do in Israel? Why are you? What are you seeking? What are you looking for in Israel? So the nun answered her, in Israel, our God is buried there. So the Rebbetzin, the mother of Rabbi Cook said to her, fair enough. In Israel land, our God is alive there. And I'm going to see the alive God. And this is where we see the difference, okay? Is this a live God or God who died? And this is why we can worship him. One of the most important points, and with this I'm finishing my words for tonight, and I'm here for questions and discussions. If we're asking ourselves how exactly we can start to realize that God is one, this is through the idea that the life that we see here in this world, and the life that we see in all levels, and people, and animals, and plants, trees, we see something alive here. Also today we know that the earth is one unit that is a bit alive. This is what we're trying to also to organize. From where the source of life? Who is giving life? There's one God who's giving life for everything. So this is some sort of the beginning of unity of everything. Source of life. So those are the things that we saw. We came to verse number 9 till 8. We explained 9. We will continue for next week, and we need to understand why Sarah laughed and why God is answering differently when Sarah laughed for the acknowledge that she's getting a son, and God was very angry with her. And when Abraham left in the chapter before, God was okay with this. We need to understand what is happening here. Those things we will speak next week. Questions till now, things that you want to ask. Just a moment. just a moment, I need to do something, and I'm coming back. Hi, Lalaine. Hope that your family is feeling better.
Yeah, Linda Allen made the comment that actions speak louder than words when it was appropriate, and that's so true in this day and age, isn't it? Actions and words. Yeah, if you're not honestly living out exactly what you are, what are you doing? Yeah, there's nothing worse than being phony and having a contradiction between what you hold in your heart and understand and what you actually do in this world. And I love how Rabbi Goldberg's always encouraging us to make the world a better place. And if we're trying to do that according to Torah and the Sheva Mitzvot, I think we've got some clear basis that actually is fruitful and in making the world a better place, rather than somewhat make believe. And I think that's why Linda said actions speak louder than words, because so many people can believe whatever they darn well want and have opinion, but they're not, in fact, putting it into practice, or sometimes it's fantasy and it can't be put into practice. This is what I love about the Sheva Mitzvot, is it can be put into practice, and the connections to Torah, which is about the direction of life, is actually how to live it here in these day and age.
Yes, I'm back. Yes,
Well, I put out onto YouTube, Rabbi. If we have any questions, we've had several people jump in and join us, but no major questions at this time on YouTube, or Facebook's kind of quiet today. Where of late you've been getting plenty of views on Facebook, but we've got a good crowd on YouTube.
I will say something about the name of Sarai. In Hebrew, when you're saying the same Sarai with a yud, like was in the beginning, it's like my Sarah. Okay, Abraham is saying all the time, she's only mine. When Sarah was only on the situation that she's related with Abraham and they are close with themselves, they can't bring Isaac, that is part of the three fathers that is building the nation of the Hebrew nation for all of the world, because they are only for themselves. So God is changing from only becoming the master. The word Sarai is master. She's also some sort of a queen. Okay, from becoming a queen of only of Abraham, she's becoming a queen of all of the world. Okay, she's related with Abraham. She's only with Abraham. We'll see this in a moment in one of the next chapters, where she's also saying, like Abraham is saying about Sarah, that she is his sister. Sarah will say about Abraham, he's my brother. So they're coming to a relationship that is much higher than just male and female, or just husband and wife. They're like in a situation like brother and sister, they're very close one to each other. They're still only together, one with each other, and that's it. But with the names of the purpose of life changed from being only with themselves to something that is for all of the world. And on this stage, they can bring Isaac, the next generation, the new fruit that is the new stage of this world, to bring a new nation. By the way, one of the explanations that we have about those three people that he saw, Abraham saw three people. Abraham, if we're explaining that Abraham, it was all a prophecy, that he was, sleeping in his tent. And when someone is looking from outside, just seeing Abraham sleeping, doesn't know what's happening inside his mind. So Abraham saw three people. Who are the three people he saw? He saw Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Well, this is one of the explanations that our sages are giving, but this is related to everything that we explained. Okay, more people. Okay, fine. If no one have any questions, so it's okay. We can close the meeting. Everything is fine. I'm not. I have what to do also in my life. It's okay. It's always a joy to have with everybody here, to be with everybody here, and Next week, we are celebrating the week of Noah coming out from the ark. I will give you another very nice hint from the Hebrew language. Okay, you with me? For a special situation. Let's go to this, but this we need to show again a bit of Hebrew. We found someone that can teach Hebrew, but the main problem is the price. So let us give us a few more days and we'll see. There is just a moment, let me move here things. We are in Chodesh Cheshvan. This is the name. This is the name of the month. Okay. Now each month have a different color. Each month have a different tribe of the 12 tribes. Okay, and each month have also one of the symbols on the sky. Okay, and this month is the Akrav. What is Akrav? Akrav is Scorpius. How do you write Scorpius? How do you write Scorpius, Dan?
Yeah, not for me. They actually, we got rattlesnakes and some, black widow spiders and scorpions in my area, but
okay,
not like Arizona where Tony lives, or New Mexico.
Okay, fine. This is Chodesh Cheshvan is Scorpius. Okay, now look good to what I'm going to show you now. Something amazing. It's contained from two words. Okay, one word is this letter, Ayin, and the other word is this word, Karev. Let's start with this Karev. What is Karev? Karev is to join together, lehakriv, lekarev, to bring everybody togetherness, one with each other, okay? Now, what is the value of the word, of the letter Ayin? Who knows? What is the value, the numeric value? Yes, Linda. We can't hear you.
Sorry, 1.
No. This is Aleph.
Oh.
The Aleph is 1. Ayin is, how many nations do we have? 70 nations. Right, great. So Chodesh Cheshvan, the Cheshvan, okay, we always start in the first Shabbat of Chodesh Cheshvan, we're reading about Noah. Okay? The end of Chodesh Cheshvan always is the date that Noah went out from the ark. So this month is a celebration of Noah. And what
right.
exactly?
It'll be November 2nd for everybody else in the world.
Yes, but in the Hebrew, it's always through Cheshvan. The first Shabbat is we're reading about Noah and the flood. The last Shabbat, we are celebrating the day that Noah went out from the ark. And what was his main mission of this month is to take those 70 nations and to bring them together.
Beautiful.
You with me?
It's amazing how the Hebrew letters preserve all this.
Everything is inside, just you need to listen careful to what is happening.
It's almost like you ever see like walnuts or certain types of nuts. It's just buried inside. The fruit is there. It's just underneath the shell.
Yes, exactly. Fair enough. I think that this is enough for tonight. Angela and Mike, I had a very long conversation with Rabbi Abel in the last
beautiful
in the last 2 weeks, and I also owe you with what's his name, with Cole, to organize for him the email, right? Remember? We need to organize that. Let's try.
I sent you an email this morning too, Rabbi.
I saw that. I will, as usual, I will refer to that.
Yeah.
As usual.
All good.
Good to see you, Lizette, also. Good to see everybody. Lalaine. Well, let's applaud Lalaine because for her it's
Lalaine in the Philippines. Thanks for joining.
Woo! Excellent. Okay. See you all. Have a great week.
Hopefully all right. So we're on for next Sunday, same time, yes. Rabbi. Hashem willing.
Yes.
All right. So, folks, that's the Genesis class for this week. We'll see you all next week, and we'll hope you'll join us. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody. Bye for now.
Shabbat tov.